Hello there, Aaron Young here from Define Digital Academy, and in this video I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process for how to set up conversion tracking for your Google Ads campaigns. Now I just want to give a couple of notes here. What this is going to be focusing on, we're going to show the example of how to fill up a form fill. So this would be ideally perfect for lead generation businesses. And I am actually going to show you two ways. We're going to show you the simple way, which is using a G tag. And then I'm going to show you the second way where you can use a click ID so they can be a little bit more refined. In both examples, we are going to be needing Google Ads and also Google Tag Manager. And if you miss any of these steps, don't worry, because if you follow the link in the description below, you can get access to my conversion setup guide. Now that conversion setup guide also shows you how to install Google Tag Manager on your website if that's not done yet. And it does take you through the second process, which we're going to go through, which is using that click ID. The reason why I haven't included that to Google Tag, because as you see, it's a really simple process. As I said, I want to make this as practical as possible. So let's jump straight into a screen share. Now, obviously, conversion tracking is really important for Google Ads, but you also do need to know how to set up your campaigns correctly and optimize your campaigns. So in that link in the description below, you can also get access to Start and Scale with Google Ads, which not only includes all of my campaign setup guides, but you also get access to a free optimization Google Ads course, which takes you through how to review and optimize your campaigns. But let's get into conversion tracking. So you firstly want to make sure that you've got Google Ads and also Google Tag Manager up and running and open, ready to go. What I'd also recommend is that you also have your website or the form that you've got that you want to be able to track, which we've got here. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to go into Google Ads. And the first thing we need to do is to make sure we've got that Google tag up and running. So what you do to go into there, you go into Tools, you then want to go into Data Manager. Obviously, because this is a setup training account, we've already got this. You'll see this Google tag in through here. If you go into Manage, if you're running a new Google Ads account, it will actually have the term setup. It's got a little setup box there for you, but that's the code that you want. I've obviously hidden the digits, but it'll start with something like AW and then it'll have numbers after that. I want you to copy that. And then you want to go into Google Tag Manager. And in Google Tag Manager, you want to go to Tags. Now we've already got this Google tag set up, and then you want to go over to New. Now you can call this anything you want. I like to, call it something like G tag so we know what it is. You get the tag configuration. You'll see a preset option for Google Tag. And then this is where you then paste that tag that you've got, and you want this to trigger off all pages. Then go through and click Save. Now you can go through and do a bit of a preview to double check that that is working. So if you want to do that, you can go through and check the preview, then just click on Connect. It will pull up a new screen, but you need to go back to that screen which is behind, and you can see that under this tags by the G tag worked. So we now know that we've got G tag working on our site. From there, you need to go into Google Ads, and then you want to go into your goals, and you can just go straight over to goals. If you want to, you can actually just click straight new conversion action. Both ways get you where you need to be, but because we've started down here, if you just go create new conversion action, and then we're going to go through this first process of setting up that conversion action with a G tag. So the way that you go through and do this, now when it comes to the category, because we're setting up a lead form, we're going to set up a lead form. Then from here, you want to select a new conversion action, and you want to select that you want to use the G tag. This is where the two options come back. I'll go through and show you the easy option. The other option isn't hard either, but I'll show you the manual option. So this simple option is you just choose, enter the URL where the conversion is completed. You want to make sure you change this event type to a form submission. Then you want to go over to that URL that you've got, and you want to see where it says URL that starts with, and then we're just going to paste this in through here. And what we're saying is we only want this to track the form that's completed on this URL. Then with the conversion settings, there are a couple of settings that you do need to go through. You do want to make sure this is set to primary. If you don't know the difference between primary and secondary goal, Google Ads tracks both of them, but a primary goal is only used for your bidding optimizations, smart bidding, any target CPAs that you've got in action. Put in the conversion name. We're just going to call this smart bidding because that was the smart bidding form. So we'll go smart bidding form. Once again, this is just an internal name. No one else is going to see this, but I do like to have a good name convention on there. You don't need to change the value. The other part from that as well is you want to make sure that you've got this selected to one and not every. And the reason why that's really important, if you have it selected to every, if the same person comes in and fills out your form 3 times, that's going to be counted as 3 conversion actions. Then you go through and click done. And then from there, you will come to this last page, which is save and continue. And then believe it or not, all you need to do from there is just go through and click finish. And then believe it or not, you are actually completed. So that is the simple way of going through and completing it. And you can see here that you've got the smart bidding form complete. So that's the first method that you can use to set up a form fill conversion tracking inside of Google Ads. Now let me take you through the second way, which is using that manual process. What we'll do is we'll go through and set up a new conversion action. So just press this plus signal at the top, go to conversion action. You still do need to go through and complete, obviously, setting up that G tag with Google Tag Manager, that first part of the process. So we're going to go through and submit a lead form again. Conversion actions, we're going to select that G tag. We've already got that set up. And rather than using enter the URL where the conversion is completed, we're going to set up manually using code. And this is where it changes. So once again, you'd keep that as a primary goal. We're just going to call this one a little bit different so I can show you the difference. And we're just going to call this Smart Bidding Manual. And then once again, you want to make sure you've set that to 1. It's going to be managed through Google Tag Manager. I also should have mentioned before, when you're seeing through these click-through conversion windows, what that means is we've got that set to 90 days. If you want to change that to 30 days, 2 weeks, essentially what that means is someone clicks on your ad today, but they don't fill out the form for 30 days, 40 days, 60 days, whatever you got that time frame set, it would still convert as a conversion. And then from here, you go through, and we're going to be managing it through Google Tag Manager. Make sure that you've got enhanced conversions turned on, and then you go through and click done. And then from here, you want to go through and click save and continue. But remembering we need to still install the code manually. And then this is where the process changes. So you'll see now we've got a different screen. So what you want to use is you want to use Google Tag Manager, and there's 2 parts that you want to go through and collect. You need to collect your conversion ID and the conversion label. So firstly, let's do the conversion ID, and you want to go over into Google Tag Manager. You want to set a new tag again, click new. I like to use that same naming convention that we used inside of the Google Ads, what we called that actual conversion action. From memory, we called it SB form. Well, I think it was SB manual. You can go through and change this later if you do get this wrong, but what we want to make sure is that we know, I like to have the same name inside of Google Ads and the Google tag because it just makes it easier to know what the tag is talking about and referencing it. When it comes to tag configuration, you want to go through and select Google Ads this time, and then we want to select Google Ads conversion tracking. And then right here is where you paste that conversion ID. Then you need to go back into Google Ads and get this conversion label, and we did call it SB manual, and I got that right. And then from here, what we need to do, you can go through some of these advanced settings. I won't go through them for the purpose of this video. Then you want to go in through to your triggering, and we want to select form submission. Now, if you don't see form submission there already, go into this little plus button at the top there. You can call it form or form submission, whatever you want to, and you'll see there is a trigger type of form submission already there. But because we've added that, we are going to select form submission straight away. And then what you want to do through here as well is you want to make sure that you click this edit, because we want to make sure that it's only tracking smart bidding checklist. If we didn't add in this sum form, so if it was on all forms, any form on your website would trigger a conversion. We want it to just be this one form. Then we go through and click save. Then we click save again. All right, so now we've got this SB manual set inside of Google Tag Manager, and we've also gone through and set it up inside of Google Ads. When we can see through here, there's the SB manual one that we've just set up through, and that's the one that we've set up with G tag. There's one last thing I like to do, and this is that you want to go through, actually 2 last things. You need to go through and just preview it and make sure that it's working fine inside of Google Tag Manager. So you click to preview, and this testing window comes up. When this testing window comes up, make sure that you see this tag assistant and just type in your name, and we'll also type in our email, then go through and click submit the form. So you're doing a test here, and that has gone through and that has worked from there. You can now close down that window. That'll take you back to Google Ads. Don't worry about saying the debug window's closed because we just closed that. And what you want to check, see where it says tags fired, SB manual has triggered. So we now know that that is working. So we've got that set up correctly. And this is why I like using this method, because you can do a little bit of testing. You can make sure that it is working fine. The last thing that you need to do is you then need to go through into Google Tag Manager and click submit. It's really important that you click submit, because if you don't click submit, it won't update the container and you won't get that conversion action feeding into your Google Ads account. So That is the step-by-step process for setting up conversion tracking. I showed you two methods, G-tag method, and then also using Google Tag Manager with the conversion label. Personally, I like that conversion label method. Remembering, if you follow the link in the description below, you can get access to that conversion setup guide. Plus, you can also get access to Start and Scale if you want to see my campaign setup guides and also my Google Ads optimization checklist and training videos. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Aaron Young from Define Digital Academy. Remember, this video is part of my Get Google Ready series for 2026. And if you want to watch all those videos in that playlist, go through and watch this playlist right here. See you next time.